Imagine your brain is a high-end laptop. It's fast, it's sleek, and it can handle complex calculations, creative projects, and long-term planning with ease. But now imagine that in the background, there are a dozen heavy programs running that you can't close. They are draining your battery, hogging your RAM, and making the simplest tasks lag. You haven't changed, the hardware is the same, but your performance has cratered. This is the reality of the bandwidth tax, a psychological phenomenon that proves being poor isn't just a lack of money, it is a physical drain on your intelligence. Most of us look at poverty as a character flaw or a series of bad choices. We ask, why did they buy that lottery ticket? Or why didn't they just save that extra $50? But what if the bad choice wasn't the cause of the poverty, but a biological symptom of it? Scientists have discovered that the mental strain of financial scarcity can effectively lower your IQ by 13 points. To put that in perspective, that is a larger cognitive hit than losing a full night's sleep, or even the effects of chronic alcoholism. It is the difference between being average and being borderline. This isn't a theory, it was proven in the fields of India and the malls of New Jersey. In one study, researchers tracked sugarcane farmers who are paid once a year. This means for part of the year they are rich, and for the other part they are poor. They gave these farmers cognitive tests before and after the harvest. The results were staggering. The same exact people performed significantly better after the harvest when they had money in their pockets. Their brains hadn't changed, but the background apps of worrying about survival had finally closed, freeing up their mental bandwidth. So, why does this happen? It comes down to something called cognitive scarcity. When you have enough of a resource, whether it's time or money, you don't have to think about it. You just use it. But the moment a resource becomes scarce, it captures your attention. It creates a tunneling effect. You focus intensely on the immediate problem. How do I pay the rent tomorrow? This focus is so powerful that it ignores everything else outside the tunnel, including long-term consequences. This is why a person struggling with money might take out a payday loan with a 400% interest rate. They aren't stupid. They are tunneling. Their brain has sacrificed their future self to save their present self. But here's the real kicker. The bandwidth tax is invisible. You don't feel your IQ dropping, you just feel tired. You feel brain fog. You find yourself snapping at your kids or forgetting an appointment. This is because executive function, the part of your brain located in the prefrontal cortex, is a finite resource. It's the same part of the brain you use for self-control, planning, and resisting temptation. When that bandwidth is taxed by financial stress, you literally don't have the biological energy left to say no to a sugary snack or an impulsive purchase. This creates a vicious, self-reinforcing loop that is almost impossible to break with willpower alone. Scarcity leads to a tax on bandwidth, which leads to poor executive function decisions, which leads to more scarcity. It's a trap built into the human hardware. We often hear the phrase, "the rich get richer," but the psychological truth is that the secure stay smart. When you aren't worried about survival, your brain is free to innovate, to learn, and to spot opportunities that a taxed brain simply cannot see. If you've ever felt like you're working harder than everyone else, but staying in the same place, it might not be your effort that's the problem. It might be your bandwidth. We live in a world designed to drain us, to keep us tunneling on the next bill, the next notification, the next crisis. Understanding the bandwidth tax is the first step toward reclaiming your mind. It's not about having more money, it's about finding ways to close those background apps so you can finally use the full power of your hardware. Because the most expensive thing you can lose isn't your savings, it's your capacity to think your way out. The question is, how many apps are running in your background right now? And more importantly, who designed them to stay open? The truth about our mental capacity is far more fragile than we care to admit, and once you see the tunnel, you realize that for many, the exit isn't a matter of effort, it's a matter of cognitive space. In the battle for your future, your attention is the only currency that truly matters. Stop paying the tax, and you might just find the intelligence you thought you lost was there all along, waiting for the screaming in your ear to finally stop. YouTube told me that this video might be for you, so you might as well check it out.